This is Columbia Morning with David Lile on NewsTalk 1400 KFRU.
Talking Horse Productions, we've followed that over the last year plus. I think it started its second year. Ed Hanson is here. He created Talking Horse Productions, and it does its productions in the Berlin Theater, and it's got one coming up soon. Actually, a couple that we're going to talk about. I love the title, A Man of No Importance. That's not you, Ed, but it's the name of the production.
Well, actually, it is me because I'm playing the man of no importance.
Then in a twist it is. A man of no importance. You've got guests with you. Let's go ahead and introduce them also right off the start.
Well, sitting next to me in the studio this morning, we have Luke Tudball, who is directing the show and is also playing the character of Robbie.
Hi.
And Luke is originally from England, so bear with us, mid-Missouri. And
we're used to English accents. We can handle that.
There you go. And then, Simon Rose.
Simon Rose is going to be
on
right
after the
Heather
show.
Heather
Bagnall is next to Luke, and Heather is playing Adele in the show, and she's also assistant directing the show.
Well, it's nice to have you both in the studio. Well, let's start, first of all, with the Talking Horse production of this. When will this be on the stage?
We open Thursday, the 21st of February, and we'll be running this week, Thursday through Sunday at 7:30, and then the next week, because of the True Falls Film Festival, we're doing a very late matinee, a 6 p.m. show, so we can be done around 8 o'clock, and then they can move the live band music in that they like to do in the cafe.
Luke, when did you get to Columbia? How many days have you been here this visit?
We've been here, I'm not even sure. Everything has passed by so fast, and really my brain is in just so many different places.
But you've been down to the theater to see what the theater's
yes.
like.
No, we've been in the theater pretty much every
They've been
day.
here a week.
Yeah.
We've been here about a week.
So what makes this play good for that setting?
Well, I've seen this show a number of times in different places, and big venues and small venues. But this show, to me, is all about storytelling. It's all about the people, the crux of the story is they're based around this amateur theater company. And when I was growing up, I did lots of theater in church and lots of other places. And we were always in these very small church halls that didn't have really great, lighting and, chairs everywhere. And we've tried to kind of recreate that a little bit with this set. I'm not going to give anything away, but if you come down, it should be fairly authentic.
So A Man of No Importance, who will tell us sort of the background of this play without spoiling what the play is about? Because I've read what the description is that Ed sent me, and this is quite an impressive play. Who's giving us the intro to this?
It looks like it falls to me. A Man of No Importance is set in the Dublin, Ireland in the 1960s, and it really centers around Alfie Byrne, who is he's a bus conductor by day, but he runs this amateur theater company, and it's absolutely his passion. He sort of idolizes Oscar Wilde, and I think it sort of wants to embody his artistry. And the theater company they're not brilliant, but in his mind and in his eye, they are everything. But he has his own sort of tortured life and secrets that he's dealing with, and through the course of the play, he sort of discovers this world that he's created in his mind is not it's not the reality that he's actually living in. And until he's able to be really honest with himself about who he is, he's never going to be able to sort of fully embrace his own life.
Ed Hanson, how does this stretch you to be this man of no importance?
Well, actually, with Alfie, there are so many parallels with my own life that I felt immediately drawn to this character when I read the script for the first time. And that's when I became sort of obsessed with the whole idea of producing the play and eventually getting it on its feet. And I had met Luke several years back, and we discovered that after he actually introduced me to the script, but then we discovered we shared this passion for it, and that's when the collaboration was born. We just kept talking about it, and I finally decided I'd just produce it.
Luke, you you live in Washington now, right?
Right, yeah, just outside of Annapolis, actually.
So you and Heather live there. You work with productions there in the Washington, D.C. area?
We've been lucky enough to, our productions company, I should say, started just over a year ago. But we've been lucky enough to really have some great shows and get off to kind of a running start. And two of them are coming after Man of No Importance, which we can talk about a little bit. But yeah, I mean, we've performed at the Capitol Fringe Festival and some various, theaters around D.C. We also have some stuff coming up in other states too.
I bring that up because my question that I wanted to follow it up with, You see mid-Missouri actors now,
right?
And you see those in Washington, D.C., or you travel around. Is there much difference between the actors and the earnestness with which they approach their craft?
You know what? I think people who really are dedicated to being in the theater are really dedicated to being in the theater wherever they are in the world. I mean, as you know, I'm English. I've been lucky enough to travel, in Europe, in the States, all over Canada, places, and I've met a lot of actors from lots of places, and it just seems to me that which people love theater and telling stories, and that's why we're here.
Is there a Midwest sensitivity or sensibility that would say the same character, when an actor would come to present that character in Columbia, Missouri, might be different than London or Washington, D.C., or is a character...
There are definitely regional differences, but I actually think that's one of the great things about theater, because, we might be presenting this show now here in Columbia, and then if we were to restage it and say, I don't know, Louisiana or, Mexico or wherever, there are going to be, various differences, because actors always bring their own life and their own style to every part. And I personally, that's the thing I love about being an actor. Like, the show is never the same twice.
So let's see. A Man of No Importance is going to start, and when is that going to be shown again, Ed?
We run the 21st through the 24th at 7:30, and then the 28th through March 3rd at 6 p.m. And then the very next week, because we're not just crazy enough to do this one show on the fly, we're actually doing a double bill on March 7th through 10th, a music review called Personals, and then Heather has a one-woman show that she wrote called Single Married Girl, and that'll be on the double bill as well. And she is planning to take that show to a fringe festival in Scotland this summer.
Oh, wow.
So...
yeah, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
So what is Single Married Girl? You wrote this, and now you're the person in this, so you wrote it for yourself. That's kind of fun. I mean, you know this inside and out. What do you want people to hear and feel when they say this?
Well, it is. It's actually based on a blog, so it's a live-action blog. It's a series of vignettes about a woman who is... She sort of comes to a crossroads. It's not a midlife crisis, but it's a crossroads in her. She's married. It's not unhappy, but it's not really happy. It's just very stagnant. And she suddenly has this realization that she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what she wants. She doesn't know how to be a grown-up. And, an independent grown-up woman. So she,
I'm laughing because I just did the quickie quiz, which the answer was The Feminine Mystique by Betty Friedan, which 50 years ago today, I think, was published. So not that is the same, but some of that overlaps.
But it's funny that you say that, because when I actually did the show in Capitol Fringe in D.C., and I didn't know what the response would be. I kind of thought, is this going to speak to anyone, or is it just really self-indulgent? And I had so many people come up to me and say, I had no idea I was a single married girl. This is my life too, and nobody talks about it. It's like this really common experience that seems to be really secret.
You're going to have, so that's coming up, and that will be March 7th through the 10th. You say Personals, Ed, is kind of a music review, and that's going to be part of that night too?
And Personals has a whole lot to do with online dating, the search for your one true love through the media.